What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Red Eyes Gaming Channel. Coming at you with a series you probably stopped caring about, but I still care about. The West of Loathing, Reckonin'at at Manor. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I looked up a few things, like, comment, and subscribe by the way, and for one of the missions, because I was getting stumped, munted around here on my own, one of them apparently revolves you to leave the manor. But before we even think about doing that one, I'm gonna try to make some chili. Okay, now, I decided to read in between the lines some more. You got an item, some chili spice. And because I don't know how to necessarily make chili, I figured I could look it up in a book. You know, Reading Rainbow sound. I never really watched Reading Rainbow. I know, my childhood is so skewered. It's sad in a way. But it's my childhood, and I am very proud of that. Don't ask me questions. What do you want to look up? Well, I'm gonna look up some C, some H, gonna look up an I, an L, and another I. Chile. You look up chili. A savory soup made from beans, spice, and a gun. So, it has to have a gun, huh? That just makes you wonder. Talk to her. Oh yeah! I have some books I can return. Can I return these books to you? I was wondering how you died. If it's not too personal a question. I was caught in the crossfire in a library shootout. Whoa. What happened? A pair of ruffians got into a heated argument over the complexity of words, visa, huckleberry, fan, whatever. And when they started shouting, I attempted to step in and stop them. I simply would not abide gunfire in my library. It's far too loud. That's your only objection? That's your only objection? The noise? That was your only objection? The noise? The noise? That's quite insufficient. I won't tolerate noise of any stricter, of any scrapper, and correctly, no gunfire. Let me foul, what's that? I don't recall the particulars. I just remember that Choco fan of shaving. Remember that gun I showed you in the Act 1 before opening fire? That noise was dreadful. I see. I'll see what I can do. Hey, look at what I. How many times do I have to tell you? I invented this thing that makes guns really quiet. Oh, how marvelous. I can finally rest in peace knowing that the libraries will now be safe from the noise of gunfire. This is only in the atmosphere of quiet that true joy there lives. Name. And with that, she disappears into nothingness. Is she? He isn't famous yet. Well, whatever. Took care of her. Wait a minute. Oh, crap. Did I need her? Oh, you have two books you can put back. Fun Law and Dueling Banjos. They can go on different shelves. So you don't. They can go on different shelves. So you can't do that with both of them. You find the shelf where the fun laws begin, and put it back. The next book on the shelf is entitled Gun Law, which makes it even more entertaining. Well, definitely give this a shot. Investigate the roll of books. You found a shelf where dueling banjos belong, and put it back. The previous shelf on the shelf is entitled Duel Law, which seems to be about the illegal issues surrounding duels. Never know when this may come in handy. Duly noted. And if I'm right, I had to read these two. You learn all about the law. You learn all about the laws permitted to dueling. It turns out when two guys want to murder each other in a fair and reasonable manner, things get legal. Things get tricky. Things can get legally tricky. You got it perfect. Duel law. Then you put the book back on its shelf. Cool. I didn't destroy it. This book is an overview of the laws regarding guns, in which at this point in history already don't make sense. You learn basically everything there is to know about gun law. Now you can be the prosecuting attorney and defense counsel, in addition to the judge, jury, and executioner. You got a perk. Gun law. After that, you put the book back on this shelf. Time to dispatch some justice. Oh man, I didn't read the description for the first one. Okay, stop me. You guys can always pause the video. I'm probably going to pause the video myself and read it for myself. Just so you guys, know. But now, armed with this knowledge that I have, I should be able to go here and take care of you. You wanna argue, bitch? Let's argue. By the way, she's the reason I have to leave the gun manor.
Hi guys, it's me, the Wood-Eyes Gamer, coming to you from this beautiful field. And just more of a surface announcement here. This episode, it was originally going to be an hour long, and it's mainly because of this particular mission here. I'm not going to lie, it's no secret that my reading skills are bad, but man, does it really show here. And for the sake of time, I'm going to try to keep this short. I've decided to just cut out all the wrong attempts, letting you guys know that I did, in fact, use a guide for this one particularly. And, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm about to butcher this next part, but for the sake of this game, I'm keeping it in. For you guys. Well, and myself. I'm cutting out all the wrong things for the sake of pride, but yeah, please work with me. And if this episode ends up coming out a little bit short, I'm sorry. This series is almost over, I guarantee you, and hey, I have 3 series that hopefully do something. Now returning you back to your regularly scheduled programs.
Oh wait, let's see here. Oh wait, what's your problem anyway? The legal stuff, you'll never understand. In fact, I think you'll find that I'm quite versed in the fine points of our justice system, perhaps as it pertains to guns and gun-related activities. Hostis, you all trousers and no briefs. Oh yeah, well just try me, smart lady. Fine, obviously you aren't going to leave me alone, so I'll just ask you a question. I am Clarence Colby, speaking for the record. State your name, occupation, and cause of death. Frankly, Ryle Winterwright, defense attorney, lost the court approval trial by combat. Lost the court-appointed trial by combat. What trial by combat has what trial by combat has been outlawed for like 15 years. You don't understand that you do understand that ghosts don't visually age as time passes, right? Oh, right. Right. So your client called for a trial by combat, which means that you, the prosecutor, had to face off in the duel. That is correct. And you lost. She squints at you. Are you acting dumb? Are you acting dumb? Trying to throw me off my card? I withdraw the question. Wait a minute. Your client called for a trial by combat, in which you and the prosecuted had to face a duel. Okay. Why are you stuck as a ghost then? Because although trial by combat was already well out of fashion at the time, it was still a valid legal regulation. I should have been prepared for the possibility, but I wasn't. My lack of training resulted in an innocent man being executed for murder. Oof. How was he executed? Hanged, I assume. Obviously, I wasn't around to see it. So to release you, I need to. I need to prove that the loss wasn't your fault. The trial duel was completely fair and above board. There is no chance of there being foul play on the prosecutor's part. My loss was my own. Then I had to prove your client was actually guilty, and therefore your feelings of responsibility are misplaced. The look she gives you is hard and cold. Okay, look, you think you know a thing or two about the law? How about you tell me the first rule of being a defense attorney? Don't make fun of the judge's beard. Don't refer to his grave as the weird right hammer. Don't accidentally call him mom. You have to trust and believe in your clients. If you don't believe your client is innocent, you'll never convince anyone else neither. So if I were to convince you he was guilty, you have an uphill fight, fella. You are assumedly playing prosecutor here. All right, tell me about the case. No further questions. I'll come back later. All right, tell me about the case. My defendant was Matthew. Guilty. Prosecutor. Whatever. Wait a minute. That's a date. At me. Okay, I'm gonna have to remember that date, am I? 78. I have questions. Go ahead. Your client was actually named guilty. Come on. Let's see here. What was the cause of death? This was at noon precisely. Your client was named guilty? Come on. Names don't mean anything. I once had a client named a nickname like a Liberty. liberty, and he was totally innocent. For someone's actual legal name, sure, but nicknames are usually given with some sort of basis. You never met a real tall guy called Tolly. You never met a real tall guy named Tiny, or a fat guy called Slim. Arguably, the nickname guilty would reinforce my client's innocence. That's totally busted. But I'll let it rest for now. Let me ask something else. Go ahead. What was the cause of death? Tomb Bluntly was shot through his heart. With a 45 millimeter with a 45 caliber revolver. And did his name own the gun? Yes, he was holding it at the time. And subsequent execution showed that it has been recently fired. Are you messing with me? Any further questions? Yes, I do have some more questions. Yeah. This was at noon precisely, right? Yeah, this was at noon precisely, right? Yes, that was confirmed by witnesses. Also, Murphy Crowder owned a fancy pocket watch that chimed on the hour. Then there were witnesses, about half a dozen of them. I'm pretty sure there is something you aren't telling me. I'm not a blaz to play my head face up, Mr. Prosecutor. Okay then. Go ahead. Hang on a second. Shot with a pistol in front of witnesses at exactly noon. Was this a duel? So you can add 2, and so you can add 2 plus 2 after all. Well done. Well, as luck would have it, I just recently read a whole book about dual law. Wait, what? What? Why? No reason. I just happened to cross it in the library and thought it may be interesting. You read an entire code of law. You found that random just for the heck of it? Yep. That's how we do it out here on the Red Eyes Gamer. We do random shit for the heck of it. So I guess let's start with you telling me the face of the death. Oh, I might stop. Yep. Let's just start with a quick review. A duel is legally provided. It's legal provided it's between exactly 2 people at specific prearranged time and place, using the sum or at least seemingly similar weapons, and they have to be either facing each other or down in a quick draw at the appropriate moment, or do the 10 paces turn and fire routine. That is right. That's the gist of it. Yes. So I guess let's start with you. Telling me the face of the effect of the cause. And I'll interrupt you abruptly if I have any questions. All right. But if you push me on trivial nonsense, I'll get mad and you have to start over. That seems fair. Go ahead. Okay, guys. So you guys have no idea how long this one took me, and I was just straight up guessing, to be honest with you. So I'm just gonna turn it up to the top. It didn't catch my winning argument, so I'm just gonna go up here and I'm gonna stumble through it. The ghost fixes her eyes at you. Let's go. I'll just do a quick review. A duel is illegal. Okay, we all know about that. That's the gist of it. Okay, this is where it got interesting. She tells her usual story. I have some questions. Shoot. I started to ask about the argument. That did not work. If Murphy had a history of cheating, okay, that didn't work. Basically, where did I get her? Where did I get her? So Mercy fired as soon as the church bell struck noon, right? Yes, yes. That is, yes, that's just what I said. That's just what I said. Have you got a point to make, or are you just stalling for time? Objection! Objection! Well, what the heck? Murphy fired at the wrong time. Well, what are you talking about? He fired exactly at noon when the church bell struck. There were witnesses. That's right. He fired at clock noon, but the duel was set for high noon. They aren't the same thing. High noon is just when the sun is at its highest point in the sky. Depending on the geography and the time of the year, it can be hours different from clock noon. Mason fired early, and that makes it an illegal duel. So, what do you say to that, counselor? Her name glances gives you a slow smile. I've got to hand it to you, Prosecutor Kobe. You're a lot better at this than I give you credit for. That's a good thought you had there. There's just one problem with it. Oh, what's that? I've already thought of it. Take that! Take that! No, I never played a Phoenix Wright game. I'm not really into night novel puzzles. You guys can tell reading isn't my strong suit, so yeah, I've thought about it though. She hurls a small book at you, which you just barely managed to catch. You got an item. 1878. Nautical economy, whatever. God, what the heck is this? I did my homework when I was preparing for the trial. My legal homework said since at the time I suspected there would be an actual trial. Trial, not a gunfight. What you're holding there is a natural achievement, whatever, for the year 1878. There's a bookmark. If you like to do the math yourself. But if you look up the silver noon, aka high noon for June 18th, and make the adjustments for Virgil's long-term whatever, what do you think you get? You've got to be kidding me. That's right, Mr. Prosecutor. 12 o'clock p.m. precisely. No! Well, darn. Nice try. I mean that sincerely. That's all my ammo. I can't think of any other way to prove Mercy's innocence as far as I can see. It was a fair duel. Yes, and that's me with the guilt of an innocent man's death on my hands. An innocent man's death. You sure are good at repeating things people say. What if he didn't die? Yeah, what if he didn't die? Say what now? Well, you didn't actually see the execution, right? Yes, well, I was. That word, you might say, being, I was, well, I was kind of, busy, you might say, being dead and all. So, you don't actually know wherever or not it happened. Oh, come on. Look, I appreciate the effort, but you're barking at the moon. let me ask you something. All right, go ahead. What all can you tell me about Murphy? Was the trial right after the duel? What all can you tell me about Murphy exactly? He was a gunfighter through and through. And by that I mean he was a celibate addict. He was an Adeline addict. And dueling was his needle of choice. Hell, if you told me he had evidence that he cheated at poker with the specific intent of baiting people into challenging him to duels, I wouldn't be the least bit suspicious at a sly one. Her impression softened, and she sighed. I make him sound like a real devil. That's not fair. He was smart and charming, and could have been a good man if he chose to. Entirely different life for himself. Anything else? Well, I recall he had a real good hand for numbers. He told me that he would never forget a date, and every man he's ever killed. He remembered the pour beer on their graves on their birthday. Well, that's nice. A nicer birthday present would have not been killing them in the first place, of course. Yep. I have a question. All right, go ahead. Why did he invoke the duel? Why did he invoke trial by combat? What was the trial? Was the trial right after? Why did he invoke? I don't want to push her off, but I have another question. Assuming he was innocent, why would Murphy invoke trial by contract? His case was probably straightforward, and a duel was only worse than his odds. I was mightily surprised. Let me tell you, the only thing I could figure out, is that it was this dumbfound sense of gunfighting pride, or something like that. That it was the only form of justice he was willing to submit himself to. I have another question. Was the trial right after the duel? The 19th? Yeah, was the trial right after the duel? No. No. I don't know. I don't know what was like. I don't know what he's like now. But it didn't have a proper courthouse. But we didn't have a proper courthouse back then. And you can't really try a murder charge in a sniffer prison or wherever. Mercifully set in jail for a couple of weeks, and then they transferred him to Francisco. Transfer him there. Okay. With one thing turning to another, the date didn't start until January. Geez, so much for a right to a speedy trial. The wheels grind slow. I have another question. When was he executed necessarily? Well, we held the trial. Well, we had the trial by combat on that. We had the trial by combat on that, and on that, and that it was a Friday. They didn't execute prisoners on weekends, so presumably it would have been that following Monday, the 29th, in the morning. With setting up the guillotine and letting the crowd gather, usually happens in the afternoon, around 3 specifically. I have another question. Go right ahead. I'll be back. I'll be back. I need to do some research. Ugh. Oh, well, here it is. Okay. You find a few bundles of old newspapers at the bottom of the shelf. The Francisco newsletter. You start at the bottom of the stack and flip through until you find the paper for the week of June 28th, August 3rd, 1878. The main feature has to do with the eclipse and various accidents and spectacles that occurred because most people weren't expecting it. The editor apologized for burying the announcement in the previous week's weather forecast. Most notably, all men scheduled to be hanged on the 29th escaped the confusion, and only 2 of them were recaptured. Unfortunately, their names weren't given. You don't find anything else irrelevant to the case. However, as you're putting the newspapers back in order on the shelf, the headliner on a more recent issue catches your eye. Husband of famous inventor missing. The article is light on information, but apparently Mrs. Gunn's husband, Dave, vanished on the road while traveling the dirt water on business about 6 years ago. Law enforcement suspected bandits, but no evidence was found. That's kind of grim. Okay, to the gallery. I found a newspaper article. The guy is scheduled to be executed the day of the eclipse escaped, and one of them were never caught. Which one? Well, didn't it say? Nope. Damn it. And executed criminals aren't given gravestones. Executed criminals aren't given gravestones with their names on them. So you can't just go looking around Francisco Cemetery to find out. Listen, Clarence, I really appreciate what you're trying to do. But at this point, you have to actually find Marcel himself to prove he wasn't executed due to my failure. Well, I guess that's just what I have to do. Damn it. Okay, and this is where I have to This is where we go back to dirt water. We're gonna go back to dirt water. I'm gonna go to the post office. You have some questions. Hey, I'm Clarence Corbis. I'm trying to find a guy named Murphy. There's a possibility he may have passed through here about 17 years ago. Passed through? We don't stamp passports here. Yeah. If he stayed for a while, I may have a wandering address. Can you check, please? All right then. Books could use a dusting anyway. One sec. She pulls some big biolinters out of her desk and blows a huge chalk of dust into the air, and then starts lifting through them. 17 years roundabout. 78, then 76, 77, 78. Marcy. Got it. Yeah, Marcy, that's the one. Yes, that's him. No wandering address, but you could ask at this old place just out northwest here. Let me see your map. Oh, looks like you already got it here. Desert house. That is. There it is. That's it. That's the one. Okay, desert house. Sure, you can porch. Okay, desert house. Mr. Martin. Oh, this is him. Stuck to his guns. Let's dig him up. You dig until your shovel hits a wooden coffee, and you dig until your shovel hits a wooden coffin, and haul the lid open. A skeleton blinks at you. Well, it doesn't. But anyway, howdy. Are you Guilty Mason? Well now, ain't heard that nickname in. What's it? What year is it? 1895. 17 years. No, I tell a lie. I tell a lie. There was one time 18 years ago. The same Moscow that escaped the guillotine during the eclipse. Yeah. Well now. Since the statutes of limitation is expired. Since the statutes of limitations have expired, I might as well fess up. That was me. Real sweet plan too. Apart from the one little hiccup. It went off smoothly. It went off smooth as silk. Even worked in a little minuscule whatever to lead the law to lead the law to them other fellas instead of me. To lead the law to the other fellas instead of me, and serve them right too. They were real murderers, not like me. I never kill a man. I never kill a man except in a fair fight. Except for the one little hitch you mentioned. You miscalculated how long to delay the trial. You miscalculated how long to delay the trial. So in order not to miss the eclipse, you called for a trial by combat. You called for the trial by combat. Oh, well, yeah, that's the truth of it. Yeah, that's the truth of it. That's the truth of it. You blaming me for Mrs. Right Wing's death, I suppose. Why didn't you just trust her? She would have got you declared innocent. She had a real good head on her shoulders. Sure. But so did the prosecutor's fellas. I didn't rate the odds better than 50-50. It's a good and it's not good enough. It ain't good enough. Anyway, the trial by combat was put on. The trial by combat was part of her job. She shouldn't have been ready. That stinks. She trusted you. She's a ghost now because she feels guilty about losing that trial. I've spent ages trying to convince her you weren't innocent, and she backed you every step of every way, and she backed you sorry. And she pats you every step of the way, despite the fact that you got her killed, and you don't even care. You monster. Hell, you bite your tongue, Sonny. Hell, you bite your tongue, Sonny. You don't know me. Don't care, huh? You don't know me. Don't care. I did what I felt I had to do to stay. I did what I had to do to stay alive. And I did what I had to do to stay alive. And I feel darn guilty about what happened to Mrs. Wright. But I ain't taking all the blame for it. No, sir. She's telling I ain't taking all the blame for it. No, sir. She'll tell you herself. She should have been a better protector. Just like she told me that day. Apologizing with her last breath. I gave up gunfighting for her. Gave up the only thing I lived for. And that's how I feel about it. You gave up gunfighting? Wasn't easy, but I did. But it wasn't easy, but I did. I bought this house, bought this land, raised some chickens, and our vegetable garden. Place has gone to hell since I died, and that's a shame. Anyway, I never fired my pistol again. Not even a darn fence post. That's not what it says on your grave. Oh, Hits. Read it again. Hits. Read it again. That was the fella who killed me. That's the fella who killed me. Having a little ironic joke, I reckon. Someone killed you. You only the second person to track me down. The first one was 9 years after the trial. Fixing whatever brother hunted for revenge. What happened? He challenged me to a duel, and I told him I don't do it no more. He asked again, and I said no. And he holstered at me. I took my pistol out of the closet and threw it at his feet, so he could see that my silver was all rusted and shut. He cocked this gun and asked me one last time. I said no, and the last thing I remember, the bang. Jeez. Kind of him to bury me though. Kind of him to bury me though. Guess he wasn't all that bad. Okay. Guess he wasn't all that bad. Do you want to see that name again? I could take you to her ghost. Nah, I reckon I'll just go back to sleep. Ain't right, nah. I reckon I'll just go back to sleep. Ain't right a dead fella walking around. Ain't right a dead fella walking around. Just tell her sorry for me, alright? Here, you can give her my pocket watch. She'll recognize it. You got an item. His pocket right. Alright then, bye-bye. So long, fella. You close the coffin and fill the hole back in. Hey. It's 3 in the morning, by the way, guys. About to be 4, just so you know. I got a question for you. What's up, Doc? Are you ready for this? I'm not even doing the voice. I'm just tired now. Are you ready for this? What now? I found Mercy's grave. He wasn't executed. You're 100% precise, certain it was him, not some other man named Mercy. It was him. Here, he gave me this watch to give to you. She turns the watch around in her hands for a while, just looking at it without saying anything. Then she slowly winds he slowly wins. Then he slowly wins it. And then he slowly wins. Then he slowly blows it. The lens are whatever. The lens as it chimes the hour. Yes, this is his watch, all right. Thank you. Wait, you said he gave it to you? He's alive? Not exactly. He's a skeleton. We talked for a while, and then he asked me to bury him again so he can go back to sleep. What did he say? He confirmed our guesses. He knew about the eclipse in the fence. Well, basically stalled the trial for his escape plan. But stalled it too long and decided to hedge his bets by calling for a trial by combat. I see. He gave up gunfighting. He what? He bought a little house and raised chickens, never fired his pistol again. In fact, he left it to us. 9 years later, Timstone's brother caught up to him and challenged him to a revenge match. Mercy refused repeatedly, so the guy shot him. He said to tell you he was sorry. She looks at you silently for a moment and then looks at the watch. She winds the hand back a minute and listens to it chime again. She sighs and shakes her head and smiles at you. Thank you, Clarence Colby. You make a damn fine attorney. She shakes her head and fades away from view. As she does so, leaving her attorney's badge in your hand. You got an item, attorney's badge. Rest in peace, conflict. You know what? Yeah, fuck it. There's 3 statues in Paul. Howdy, Paul. How's it going? Shit, the ghost still there? No, I took care of her. Oh, thank God. I got to go wash this floor off and get back to work. But first, he starts frantically stretching every part of his body. Man, feels like I've been starving up. Man, feels like I've been saving up these itches for days. I was about to go crazy. Thanks, Clarence. You're a lifesaver. No problem. Come see me at the visitor center. I'll hook you up with a souvenir photography. Paul wanders off. If this episode's not animated, you guys know why. Or I'm animating like the last parts of it or whatever. Like, comment, and subscribe, or turn off. This series. It's for one ghost. Subscribe. No, you owe me a subscription, okay? After all that, you owe me a subscription. No, I'm not doing it in screen. Look at me in the eyes. Subscribe now. And I will see you all in the next episode. Later.